I'm Tiege.
And I'm Sam.
And we are your well-informed girlfriends.
Bringing you today's news, gossip, and unsolicited hot takes. This week, we're chatting about the government shutdown, airline delays, and cancellations, and also Ozempic for all.
Oh, Ozempic for all.
Yeah.
What a campaign. We're also talking about stack dating.
Oh.
Ooh, what's that? Women in the workforce, and is there some controversy behind that? And a new social media trend.
We love a social media trend.
We do.
How was your week, Tiege?
My week was great. Honestly, I feel like I had a pretty good weekend. Oh, I went to a Clippers game.
Fun.
Which was the first time, I used to, for anybody who doesn't know, I used to dance for the Lakers. I was involved in the NBA for a really long time. And then I did sideline reporting. So I've really never sat in the crowd as like a fan. So last night was the first night I did that at the Intuit Dome in Inglewood, California, which is pretty cool. I mean, like they tried to make the entire arena so high tech that like every single time you entered like any area, whether it was like your seat or like into like getting food or wherever you were going, like several checkpoints throughout the place that you'd have to scan your face. And then you're scanning your like credit card and your Intuit Dome ID. I was kind of like a little bit overwhelmed. And I know that they like did it to be like super high tech and like, in a theory, I think like it should make things easier. But I have to say I was a little bit like, I wasn't off put, but I was like, wow, this is a lot. As a fan, like I kind of just want to like come and like grab a little snack and like go sit in my seat. But it was not that easy. It was like everything. There was like several checkpoints. A lot of people were like slowing down the lines because like getting the things set up on their phone. Honestly, it was kind of a lot, but I had a great time.
Did the Clippers win?
Basketball. Clippers did not win. It was a very close game.
Okay,
Phoenix
but you had a
Suns.
good time and it was fun. And I'm assuming you got some snacks in the end, right?
I did get some snacks in the end, which I was charged for today.
Oh.
Because that's how it goes. So
you wake up to the regret.
Yeah, you wake up, you're like, wow, $32 for a margarita.
What
Awesome.
have I done?
Yeah, but it was fun. It was good. How are you?
I'm good. My best friend from high school is in town visiting from DC, one of
Yay.
the many workers working without pay right now.
Yeah.
And so we've been doing kind of fun tourist in your town activities. We went to the Warner Brothers lot this morning.
Oh, cute.
I got to see the Gilmore Girls set, which I've actually never done, which is so funny because, I mean, we've been to the Warner Brothers lot. We've seen screenings there together, but I've never just done the tour.
Yeah.
We sat in the orange couch. I don't think it's the original one, but whatever.
Yeah.
We sat in a orange couch from Friends. It was very fun. I had a good time. And then
That's
we went to the
awesome.
Academy Museum this afternoon, hence
Oh my gosh.
me coming in hot here.
Yeah.
But no, it was really fun. And honestly, I don't do all the touristy stuff all that often. So highly recommend. Had a good time.
Sometimes it's nice to do touristy things in your own city because it reminds you why you live in the city. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes I forget how amazing and cool LA is. And then I go on a hike or I go to the beach or I go to an incredible restaurant. I'm like, oh my God, that's why I live here.
Right.
I forgot. Like, that's why I live here. That's why I pay $20 for a smoothie because it's worth it at the end of the day. The weather's great. People are cool.
Oh my God, yes.
And that's why I love it.
And honestly, I did make him try the Hailey Bieber skincare smoothie.
Did he love it?
Yes, it was delicious, right? Give us the thumbs up, Will.
He loved
says
it.
Yes. He was bullied into it, but it's fine. I thought it was
Makes
fun.
sense. Yeah, that's amazing.
Well, speaking of fun employed government employees, let's talk shutdown.
Yeah, that's still happening,
It's still going, you guys. It's been going since October 1st. If you
Mhm.
can believe, it's the longest one ever. One of the most worrying impacts that the USDA had warned that the SNAP program was going to not put out all of their funds, and then they were ordered to. The federal courts ruled that they couldn't suspend SNAP benefits and ordered the Trump administration to pay them. And then the Trump administration was like, nah.
Yeah. It's been a lot of back and forth about
Yeah.
these SNAP benefits. And I feel like that's finally like the big topic that is like, okay, maybe this is the thing that ends
That puts
the
it
shutdown.
over the edge, yeah.
Who knows? I mean, also you got to mention like everything that's happening with the airlines. Like,
oh my gosh, yeah.
Cancellations left and right, and people at TSA and people working without pay. Like, it's especially with like flights coming up in the holidays. Like, I know I have a trip going home for Thanksgiving and for Christmas, and not to be selfish or make it about me, but I'm sure everyone is thinking that right now. It's like, am I actually going to be able to go home? So I don't know. Some people are like rebooking. What are you thinking about holidays?
So thankfully I do Thanksgiving here, but I will say I read a statistic, and I would have to fact check this, but I read a statistic that about half of all Americans only take one trip a year. And that trip is more, I mean, I think we can all safely assume that's usually around the holidays.
Yeah.
And so only one airline trip, I'm sorry. Anyways, and so if you're going to fly for the only time this year, and you're flying to some regional airport that's like had way fewer flights. Anyways, long story long, I think that it could be the thing that puts us over the edge. I also think the SNAP benefits are a huge, huge talking point for both parties. And so basically, just to wrap that up, by the way, the Supreme Court stepped in and put a stay on the Trump administration being ordered to pay them. So now they're just in a sort of holding pattern. Essentially, like, we don't know what's going to happen. Like, they were supposed to go out and they haven't. Stay tuned for more. Some of them have, but most of them haven't. Isn't it
kind of insane to have a president who's like, oh yeah, no, hold that. What? What do you mean?
Yeah, and it's like 1 in 8 Americans that get some form of these benefits. So that's pretty wild. And we are seeing a huge number of people at food banks. All the local news stations here in LA, I'm sure in other cities, have been covering this. Like, a lot of people are asking their neighbors for help. And so we'll see. Maybe this will be the thing that gets government to step up. In the past, it has been air traffic controllers not showing up to work. And, TSA and that sort of thing. Just FYI, if you're flying, by the way, a lot of TSA pre-check is closed.
Yeah.
The lines are really long.
I'm hearing like 3 hours. You have to get there 3 hours early.
Yeah.
Just to give you some stats, the Transportation Secretary, Sean Duffy, said Friday that the government could cut flights, and that could increase to 20% should the shutdown drag on. So right now I think it's at like 4% of the airports and all the flights are like being delayed and whatever.
Right. And they're ramping up to 10, right?
Yeah, right, exactly. So very interesting. Many airlines are waiving fees though for flyers who want to change their plans or refund their tickets, as they're trying to like also scramble to meet the FAA's orders. It's interesting too, because it's obviously these airlines are like, we need the business and we need to keep things going. And so it's like it's weird that like they're so intertwined. Like,
and this is their money-making season. This is like the beach being closed in the middle of summer.
Right.
This is when a lot of their money is made. This is a high stress time. I think it's going to be really rough. And I mean, airline traffic controllers were already under so much pressure. They were already working overtime, mandatory overtime, a lot of them. So it will be, it is cruising for a bruising, as they would say back in the day. Like, it is just going to be, it's going to be something, that's for sure.
Yeah, but I hope we get some resolution here soon.
For sure.
Okay, this next story is interesting. Break it down.
Okay, so Donald Trump announced a deal with Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk this past week to lower prices on the hugely popular weight loss drugs for Medicare, Medicaid, and regular Americans who are paying with cash.
Okay.
Basically, the deal really could significantly expand the amount of people who have access to GLP-1s, which is that weight loss drugs most commonly known as Ozempic and Wegovy. And basically, it could go down all the way to around $149 a month for some of the lowest income people.
Oh.
And like, what's interesting about that is it means like Americans will be able to take this en masse even more than they already are. And Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk, the two that make it, Eli Lilly makes Mounjaro and Novo Nordisk makes Ozempic and Wegovy. They have a 3-year reprieve from the tariffs as part of this deal.
Wow.
Yeah.
First of all, I think this is awesome. I think if this is something that is like helpful for you or you're in your journey and whatever, like I think it's actually amazing. And I think it's great. We're making it more accessible to people. I do have a controversial hot take, which you're going to be like, shut up. But like, why are we like, I think it's very cool. Again, we're making this accessible for all, but like, why are we not talking about the root cause of the issue is that like a lot of the food that we're eating is not healthy, and like a lot of the things have seed oils and preservatives and garbage in them, and like the food that we're eating is like bad, and that's why we are all taking weight loss drugs. It feels like we're like putting a band-aid on like the bigger issue, which is that we're all eating unhealthy because like healthy food is unfortunately very hard to get. Like I even go to the store, even like a Whole Foods, which is where I shop, because it got more affordable since Amazon bought it. Not because I have money. I just would like that to be clear. But even when I go there, it's like I'm looking at a lot of food and I'm like, oh, that is highly processed. I didn't realize that has a bunch of stuff that I like don't really want to eat. That is packaged where, like, I just feel like I don't know. I think there are conversations about making food healthier and like trying to, make healthier food accessible to all. But like, it seems like, I don't know, we're putting a Band-Aid on a bigger issue. What do you think?
I mean, that's kind of a loaded question.
Yeah.
But I would say, so like, I'm going to be upfront. I did take GLP-1s for like a full year, and it was the most free I've ever felt from like the food noise in my head and from honestly the like being overweight. Like I had never in my adult life, even in my teen life, I've always been overweight. And so it was really awesome to finally have something to like cure you almost. It's like a cure-all. And I do feel like I eat healthier now as a result. I'm no longer on them. That said, I do think I somewhat agree with you. I think part of it is a much wider issue. But like what you just described is so many different aspects of American society.
Right.
And like this is just one part.
Right.
That helps people who really do need it. I mean, it's like, it's not, and we've been trying for decades. Michelle Obama's Let's Move campaign, we've done all of these things to try and help people be healthier, and it's just like not working. And this psychologically changes the desire for those foods in your head. And so I understand, and I agree, like you have to eat healthier when you're on it. And so I think it does help. I do think that we should be helping others get access to it.
Yeah.
But like, I'm with you. I do think there's a lot of ultra processed foods out there. There's a lot of like really unhealthy foods that we're trained to eat and that we're inspired to eat because of marketing campaign. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but there are just so many elements that go into that, that it's like, this is just one part. And I'm like, I guess I'm like honestly kind of happy about it, because I think it's really hard for the lowest. I don't want to make health only for the wealthiest. And I think in this particular instance, we're like helping the lowest income Americans have access to it to some degree. That's my hot take.
For sure.
Controversial opinion. But.
Yeah, no, that's not controversial. I think mine was a little more controversial. Okay, so also there's some data about the Ozempic era. What's that about?
Yes. Okay. So the impacts of it are actually finally showing up in national data.
Okay.
So according to the Gallup National Health and Wellbeing Index survey, which they've done every year since I think 2008, the obesity rate has started to fall for the first time since they started keeping track.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's down to about 37% of Americans, but it used to be in the 40s. So,
oh wow,
that's an improvement, right? It's like not because we all figured out a miracle diet. It's probably from the GLP-1s. So, I mean, hey. At least America's getting healthier.
No, it's awesome. I mean, if you can kickstart a healthier trend, I mean, it sounds like you have changed your habits in a way.
Somewhat.
Too.
I mean, I did eat a breakfast burrito this morning, but
I mean, who says that's
bad? I shared it with my husband, so that's growth, right?
Yeah, that's growth. Yeah. So I know I do think it's cool if it gives you some sort of like, oh, this is good, and it'll give me a benchmark, and it'll give me something to reach for. And it's like a helpful crutch, I think, for people to get started, which I think is like the hardest part in any of those things. Like changing habits, like I feel like if you can have one thing that like gets you in the door and helps you change it, that's cool. So
for sure.
Okay, so the New York Times is in a little bit of hot water this week after they published this op-ed entitled, "Did Women Ruin the Workplace?"
Oh my gosh.
And later it was actually updated with a new headline, "Did Liberal Feminism Ruin the Workplace?" Not much better. The podcast is hosted by this conservative and featured this interview with two other conservative women who argued that feminism has failed us because it's made our institutions too feminine, driving men and masculine culture and virtues out. And another woman who wrote a book that says liberal feminism has failed us by forcing women to suppress their nature and fit it into workplaces and social systems made for men. So basically the whole thing is about like, we're making the workplace like more feminine and like more like about like emotions and like less about like getting it done and like getting the numbers and like crunching the numbers and like not caring about, feelings. Like we just have to get to the top. And that's basically what it was. And so, I mean, I don't know. What do you think about this? First of all, we have to give you a clip.
Yes.
Here it is.
On which I am confident, which is that the pathology in our institutions, known as wokeness, is distinctively feminine and feminized, and that in a very literal sense, our institutions have gone woke because there are more women in them than there used to be.
So I did listen to most of this. I am not going to lie to you. I was a little triggered, and I want to acknowledge my bias here. Like, this was a lot for me personally. But as a millennial, I feel like in my workplace, it's always been fairly equitable, honestly, like a lot of women.
Yeah.
And of course there are microaggressions. Of course, like there's workplace harassment, yada, yada, but it hasn't been, like the 1950s or 60s.
Yeah.
So if you're saying women ruin the workplace because we asked for you to treat us with respect, that's actually crazy.
No, it's crazy. And I do think it's obviously it shows up in different jobs and like segments of the economy probably differently. Like if you think about like, I don't know, finance jobs, I'm sure it's like a little bit more masculine. I'm just assuming. I've never worked in finance, but I'm assuming. You like think about jobs like that, or like, I don't know, sports jobs. Like those are like obviously inherently like more masculine roles and jobs. But yeah, like I think we've really benefited from having women in the workplace, especially women in leadership positions, especially women who have families. I feel like if I have a boss who's a woman who has kids, I always know she's going to be like cooler, nicer, sweeter, more understanding. She's a mom, you know, like she gets it.
Yeah.
But if I ever have like someone who's in charge of me who's like, who doesn't have kids and like doesn't understand like work-life balance and stays at the office till 8 p.m. and like doesn't get why I don't want to do that too, like I think that's like a hard person to work for.
For sure.
So yeah, so that's kind of, it's interesting, but I feel like I haven't really noticed that as much in the jobs I've had.
Yeah, I mean, I will say I work in media, and so I do think there have been more and more women going into that business. So maybe that's part of the complaint. All of these people that were doing this podcast are in media.
Yeah.
But I have to say, I don't think liberal women are ruining the workplace. I think if anything, women make it better. Like we have more people's opinions and more human beings that have thoughts and feelings that are valid. I don't know. That's just me. I think it's like kind of a crazy thing to say in the year of our Lord 2025 also.
No, it's actually insane. It's also kind of insane like for New York Times to just publish that the way they did.
I am shook. But you know,
it's okay. It was just an op-ed.
It was an op-ed, like an op-ed podcast though. You know, it's their opinion and they have every right to that opinion.
For sure.
I will say I've seen a lot of women on the internet pretty mad about it. I've seen a lot of people say that they're like quitting the New York Times.
Oh my gosh.
I've seen a lot of memes of people, of women sharing, being like, on my way to ruin the workplace.
Yeah.
And like, I think that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
I feel like we have to laugh so we don't cry.
No, for sure. For sure. Well, I mean, this actually correlates with a story that we've seen a lot this year where women in droves are actually leaving the workplace. And we didn't even really put a story about that in here, but that is like true. And that's been happening the last few years. Women have been leaving the workplace for whatever reasons, various reasons, if it's family or the economy or like whatever the reasons are. It's so yeah, definitely interesting. I wonder if we're going to get back to a little bit more of a masculine culture in the workforce. It just would feel weird at this point because you have so many people that are used to like this new vibe in the office.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to ask you this. Do you get a lot of like trad wife content on the internet?
No.
I don't get a lot. I get a lot of like women responding to trad wife content, but it does always, it's a stitch, right? So it'll be like, it'll open with the trad wife people being like, I don't value female friendships. I put my kids ahead.
Yeah.
And then it like cuts to another woman being like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
But I'm like, the fact that there's so much of this content out there, that's kind of alarming to me, honestly, that there's enough for liberal women to be responding to it. I'm like, that clearly tells me that there's many, many women who are fine with trad wifing, which like totally fine with being a stay-at-home mom. Like, to be clear, it's like the being subservient, being like a servant in your own home to your husband, that I'm kind of like, whoa.
And I think like it's weird to like publicize it so like aggressively online. Like I've seen some women like make these videos with their husband like in the background, like, I didn't go to work today because my husband's a provider. I'm like, that's so sick. Like I love that, but I like work. Like I want to go to work. So like I don't feel weird. I don't feel weird that you're doing that. That's
no,
so
but it's
cool.
Weird that you're making content about it. I mean, like, whatever, I guess. But the other part of me is like, you are working. You are making this content. Someone had to film this. Someone had to think of it. Someone had to cut it and put it on the internet. Like, you're still working.
And don't diminish what you're doing at home. Like, you're probably still working. Like, you're probably still keeping a house going and like whatever and cooking for this man that is providing for you. So I don't know. It's interesting.
What a time.
What a time.
Speaking of the times.
Let's speak of the times.
Okay. So The Atlantic this week is asking if AI is making us even lonelier.
Okay.
They wrote this story titled "The Age of Anti-Social Media is Here."
Okay.
And essentially, I mean, like, I don't know if you remember this, but like maybe 20 years ago, Mark Zuckerberg promised to connect the world with his Facebook. And now he's saying that Americans actually have fewer friends than ever. And his solution is chatbots, I guess. Meta, along with everyone else, Snapchat, everyone's making AI companions that can talk, flirt, and remember details about you and tell you a story. And essentially, the idea is that experts are saying this can actually deepen our isolation, and it might immediately make us feel better, like we're talking to a human being, but because we're not, we'll actually eventually feel lonelier.
Yeah, it's actually so messed up. And here's the deal. It's like anything to like steal our time, attention, and agency, they will just like grasp on. And like we're of course going to have to end up paying for this. I'm sure people are going to be paying to have companions. And like it's really upsetting that's that this is what's happening. And they're like capitalizing on this loneliness crisis that they created. They did this to us. They literally separated us, made us disconnected. And now they're like, oh, you're lonely? Don't worry. Don't go talk to your friend. Instead, we have a robot for you. And they're going to hang out with you.
Yeah.
And they're going to remember your stories. And they're going to laugh at your jokes.
Oh my gosh.
It's kind of crazy and it's upsetting. But what, like, I guess the anti-social media, what does that mean in the story?
It just means like instead of posting on your social media and interacting with like pictures of your friends' children, you're actually just chatting with your chatbot instead of posting on social.
Okay, so social media, the Atlantic is kind of arguing that we're going to be off of social media and on to just like personal relationships with chatbots instead.
Yeah.
And that's what our social media use is going to look like.
Right, exactly.
Okay, that's interesting. I mean, look, I feel like social media, especially like the Instagram model, is becoming less and less appealing every single day. It's just, especially now that they're giving us all the celebrity content that I did not ask for and like people that I don't follow. Like I purposely don't follow celebrities because I can't personally feel bad about myself when I'm looking on Instagram, you know? Like, and then like now they're just like force feeding you models and like I purposely don't follow those people because it makes me feel bad. And so it's like, I don't know. I feel like Instagram is like no longer appealing. I will say TikTok unfortunately has me in a chokehold. But yeah, I don't know. I guess this brings us to our next story.
Yeah, it kind of does.
Which is also about social media and the question of, is it cool now to not have followers? And
like you're so aloof.
Yeah, like kind of like you're just like you don't care about like followers or validation online. So anyways, this story was basically from the New Yorker. The newest status symbol apparently online is not having 1 million followers, but barely having any at all. So this article says that as social media fame gets easier to fake and harder to trust, people are actually starting to romanticize the offline life, which I love. So trendsetters and editors with tiny private Instagrams are actually being praised for not posting.
Oh.
Like a kind of anti-influencer flex that says like, I don't need the algorithm to matter. And I actually feel like I'm very anti-social media. I wrote the book, The Social Media Detox.
Yeah.
And like, I really do think like the more time off of social media, the better. So I do think it's cool that people are like posting less and like being less engaged online. Cause like the more that you can step away, the better everybody feels. So I do think this is true.
I think that's true for people who already have a certain level of influence.
Right.
Like I think if you are the editor of Vanity Fair, you don't need social media. You are automatically already considered cool.
Yeah.
You have social cachet and frankly, privilege. But I think if you are a hustler trying to make it, like you're going to have to post, but it does. And I don't know, part of me wants to say, like, I feel like there are two wolves. One that's like, it is horrible to be perceived on the internet. Yeah. Like even cutting our clips for this pod, I'm kind of like, ugh, I hate hearing the sound of my voice. But like we have to share it if we want anyone to listen. Yeah. And that's kind of the same thing for anyone who's trying to like make it. You have to have followers. And that's like the only solution if you don't know someone who knows somebody.
Yeah.
And so I guess like for me, yeah, it would be so cool to not have followers and to not care about being perceived on the internet. But I do care. Please like me.
But also like there is that concept of like, you know, everything you want is over the cringe mountain, you know, like so you have to like ride the mountain of cringe
exactly
to like get to a place of like after that's everything you want. It's like after you do the uncomfortable stuff. Exactly. And I do believe that. I do feel like, and it's always like very obvious what you should do to get to the thing you want to do next. But like we come up with all these excuses. I know myself. I'm like, oh yeah, like I want to do this, but like I have this other thing and I don't have time. And I do like, it's like, you know exactly what to do to get to the next level. Yeah. But you're just like, I don't know, self-sabotaging and like waiting to do something. But I feel like once you can get like really clear about like what you want to do and like where you want to go and like ride the cringe mountain, if you're like in this example trying to get more followers or have a social media presence or not, you just have to do those things.
Right.
And then when on the other side, it's like everything you've ever wanted.
We're manifesting that for us.
Yeah, we're manifesting that for us. But I do think that's very true. Okay, what is this next story?
Okay, so we didn't really talk about this a lot, but like there was a sort of blue wave election night on Tuesday. November 4th. And Zohran Mamdani won New York mayor. Yeah. He's like 34. He's Muslim. He's like a TikTok influencer now.
Yeah.
And basically, it was a headline from the New York Post that actually captured my attention that I wanted to talk about because, you all saw the election news. But this I thought was so interesting. And the headline was how Zohran Mamdani's aloof wife, Rama Douaji, quietly steered his campaign from behind the scenes.
Okay.
And what I loved is that people are calling her aloof. And then a story from Cosmo spotted this article also and was like, that's a hilarious description, calling her an aloof wife. Like, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
And they have this theory that this is now how first ladies will behave. She's aloof in the sense that she has limited public appearances. She's not gone out on the campaign trail a ton. She's got her husband on her Instagram grid, but he's like 3 pictures into the slideshow kind of vibes. And so they think that this will be the new frontier for like millennial first ladies. Will be like, oh, our public persona is just like us, and then we don't exist in service of our powerful partner. We are just happy and healthy and kind of doing our own thing vibes.
Okay.
I mean, like, I don't actually hate that, but I love that we're aspiring to be an aloof wife now. That's hilarious.
I think aloof is not my favorite word.
Why?
Because she's not aloof. She knows exactly what's going on.
That's
aloof
true.
to me means
If she
like, I don't care at all. Like,
Yeah.
I think she's like very engaged and like knows what's going on. I
Oh,
don't
that's
love
true.
the word aloof, but I do think like it's cool to just like be there and be of service and like kind of be behind the scenes and like pulling puppet strings. I feel like that's most women in relationships with men. But that's interesting. She seems like a cool girly pop.
Oh, yeah. I mean, after they said this, I obviously had to go stalk her Instagram. And I was
Yeah.
like, I want to be when we grow up. Are we almost the same age? Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, she seems like a cool girl. What's her job? What does she do for a living?
Oh my gosh. I don't remember. I'd have to look that up. But it's like it's just like a regular normal job. And I know that they met on Hinge, which I also think is very fun.
Oh, I also love that.
Yeah, right?
Oh my
Like, what a
God,
cute
a modern love story.
I know.
That's so cute. Okay, so as you know, Sam, we are approaching an interesting season called cuffing season.
Oh, it is time.
It is officially cuffing season because it is officially November. And that is basically, if you're not familiar, when many singles scramble to find short-term or long-term partners to help them get through the upcoming holiday season and what may seemingly be the dreariest and loneliest months of the year, if you are alone and single. So anyways, this time, October through March, people are temporarily handcuffing themselves to partners through probably spring. It's when we see these relationships either last or fizzle out. Anyways, as we're talking about cuffing season, since it is happening, there are actually some things, if you're considering doing it, you're married, you don't count.
I'm always cuffed.
But there are some actual risks that you have to be wary of when it comes to cuffing season. So beware of fear driving your decision making. So fear of being alone when it's dark and cold and just like picking someone who doesn't actually align with you at all. Like just kind of like blindly shutting your eyes and pointing to a person and being like, it's cuffing season, please just like be my comfort.
Yeah.
Right?
That's fair.
You know?
That is, I feel like what could drive a lot of relationships in this time, especially in the colder places. LA, it's like it's still sunny and 75.
Yeah, but I think that fear is still like reminiscent because like there's so many like cute things to do during the holiday season. So it's like it really sucks to be alone.
True.
You know? And so they're also in this article, they were saying that fear can lead to bad choices, a waste of time, and even getting you stuck in unhealthy relationships. So say springtime rolls around, you know it's a bad decision, but you already have put this time and effort and energy into it. It's almost like that sunk cost fallacy, you know, that where you're like already put this time in. So it's like, I might as well keep doing this. Even though you know it's not a good decision. And when emotions get involved and you've been in a relationship too long. Anyways, it's interesting. And they also said that because you do this, if you make a fear-based decision during cuffing season, you might miss the right person, or it might keep you from being more independent and finding out more about yourself. So,
that's a good point.
Yeah, it's interesting. Cuffing season comes with risks.
Yeah. So I guess if you had to say
what
people should be looking for during this cuffing season, what would it be?
Well, I am not the expert on this, but I think it's just like somebody who, you know, you want to go through the holiday season with and start a relationship. I don't think it's worth getting in a relationship just because it's getting cold out and you want to sit by a fire, right? Like I understand the pressure of that, and like I understand the temptation of just like finding somebody just to do fun holiday things with. But yeah, I think like making a decision based on that doesn't really make sense.
And then you have to get them a gift, like, and you've known them for 5 minutes.
And like, do you have to get them a gift?
What do you get them if you've only been dating a month? Oh my God.
Isn't that funny? I feel like sometimes I'll end up dating a guy and like his birthday will come up right away or my birthday will come up right away. That actually happened this year. And I was like, we were both like, oh, do we do anything? Like, I guess happy birthday.
Right.
And like, you know, like what do you do? It's always interesting. When did you guys start giving gifts?
So we started
In a
dating
relationship.
in a February, and
Okay.
then like 2 weeks later, our anniversary was February 2,
Yeah.
and then like February 14th rolls up, and it's like, oh, we have to do Valentine's Day together.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, I've always been a Valentine's Day hater, and just because I have a man has not changed that. Valentine's Day sucks. Someone had to say it. This is a hot take. And I just was like, you know, it's fine. We'll just cook dinner at your house, whatever. And he did give me a card, which I thought was very nice.
That's cute.
And maybe he like got me some chocolate or something. And I think I gave him a card. I don't think I gave him anything because like that's just so weird. But then by July, he got like that's when my birthday is. And his birthday was in June. So I think that was like more established enough to get gifts. But
so first gift was a birthday gift, and it was like 2 months in because it's it is interesting if you start a relationship and then like a holiday comes up or a birthday comes up. It's like, do you get them a gift or do you like you don't want to be a weirdo either? It's like 2 weeks of dating and it's like I got you like a whole aloe sweatsuit, and he's like that's
so weird.
Like why did you do that? Now he has to feel like he has to reciprocate.
Right. No, I think it all comes down to like communication too. Because I was like, I am a Valentine's Day hater. Please don't get me anything. A card is fine. And he got me chocolate because I had mentioned my favorite chocolate. And I think that's nice. It shows you were listening.
Yeah.
And it shows that you are acknowledging the holiday and spent like $10 on it. And that's good. Like, please don't do anything else. That's too weird. You've been dating for 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's so
can't.
funny.
I did find out later that in order to have me over for dinner that night, he had to buy a bunch of stuff because he had like a strong batch pad energy.
He didn't even have food.
He had like 2 plates, 1 mixing bowl, and like no wine glasses. So I guess he went and bought more plates and like other bowls and wine glasses and all of the accoutrements to make a drink. I had no idea. At the time, I thought it was $10, but he did splash. I mean, it was for him, not for me, but in order to impress me, which I still found amusing.
Yeah, that's still sweet. Okay, so we're going to talk about a dating trend that we've talked about before.
Yes, we love a dating trend.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we're talking about today is called stack dating, which is sort of like when you go out and you schedule multiple first dates all in one day.
Yeah.
So like you might meet someone for coffee, then go to a lunch, and then go for a walk in the park or whatever it is people do on first dates.
Yeah.
But basically it's called like errand dating too, slightly more disparagingly because it makes it sound like you're fitting in dates whenever you can.
Yeah.
And I guess like this is just back in the news again because Men's Health covered it this week. And I guess do you do this ever? Have you ever done this?
No, this is actually insane. This article
this
literally
is an insane person would do.
Alex apparently.
I have so many.
Well, but that's not what this is.
This is first dates. This is like hinge dates.
Like you're going to coffee with one girl, and then the second girl you're going to dinner with.
See, no, I
love that.
I agree.
That's fun.
I'm totally down with that. Like, and I'll bring friends to the grocery store, whatever. I think that's totally fine. I think you should take a boyfriend to IKEA to see if you guys can survive.
Yeah.
But I do not think that stack dating is very nice. That
this way,
sounds so mean.
This way, it's like they're talking about like, oh, like I'm gonna go to coffee with one girlie and then go to lunch with another girlie and then dinner with another girl. It's like that is too much. And it's like, don't treat dating like an errand, but do go on errands with dates.
Yes. Okay. Amazing takeaway. I'm here for that.
I always feel like the more active you can be on a date, like the more activity you can pack in. Like I feel like the most boring dates or like hangs are like, oh, let's come over and let's watch Love Island. It's like, that seems, there's no effort there and it's not interesting and I'm bored. But like,
I
if we
also
can go
feel
on
like
a
weird
walk,
pressure to hook up if you're at someone's house right away. Like,
it's not really like a date.
The 14th of February story I just told. But like, I mean, you can't go out on July. Why do I keep saying that? You can't go out on Valentine's Day because it's like crazy out there. But I'm with you. I think you should have an activity.
Yeah.
Do something. Get out into the outdoors. I also like to see how people interact with their environments. I feel like that's a good test of someone's character.
Totally. Okay, well, this was a fun week. I'm happy that we did it.
Oh, yeah. Same here. Thank you for tuning in, everyone. And if you could like and subscribe, we'd love you forever. Tell your friends.
Yeah, we love you guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Will.